All right, so image improved, but maybe not translating. Tonight, that is one trend we are seeing with Kamala Harris and how voters perceive her now that we are 10 days or so past the one and likely only presidential debate. But we had this question: where does she stand now compared to the Democratic candidates who came before her? Joe Biden in 2020, Hillary Clinton in 2016. Chris Stirewalt digging into the numbers and is here to break it all down. Chris,
there I am. Look at me.
You love
it's
it.
Amazing.
This is Chris's favorite picture.
That's right. I look like I'm picking up a sandwich.
Yep.
That's very good.
Numbers.
That's very good. Numbers, numbers. So you people know that I've been jonesing for high-quality polls post-debate, and they're starting to come in. So I want you to look. This is Michigan. Over here, you see Kamala Harris up. This is, we have a smattering of polls here, but I want you to compare what we see now versus what we saw at this point. These polls from 2020 and 2016 are at this point in those elections. And what do you see? Kamala Harris is doing a lot better than Hillary Clinton, a couple points better than Joe Biden, but Donald Trump is doing way better than he was in either election. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did those elections turn out? What was the result? If only the wall would just change and then we would, oh my gosh, there it is. How did it turn out? He won barely, he won, he lost there. What do we know in each case? Donald Trump got about the same percentage of the vote in 2016 as he did in 2020 and 2016. Okay, well maybe that's a fluke. Maybe it's just Michigan, Blake.
Oh,
maybe it's just Michigan. Or what about Pennsylvania? Here you go. Now, poll, Quinnipiac, thanks for doing the poll. She's up 6 points on Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. Biden was up a lot more in Pennsylvania in 2020, and Hillary Clinton was up about the same in 2016. But look at how much better Donald Trump is doing now than he was then. How did the elections turn out in Pennsylvania? Great question. I'm glad you asked. There it is. He won like that and did that. What share of the vote did Donald Trump get in both elections? About the same. About the same. What do we say about Donald Trump? He has a high floor and a low ceiling. But maybe it's not true in another state. What about Wisconsin? Okay, she's up a point. Biden, she's up less than Biden was, and she's up more. She's doing better than Hillary Clinton was. But Trump is better by 5 points, by 6 points than he was at this point 4 and 8 years ago. How did Wisconsin turn out? Ta-da! Now, he did a little better in 2020 than he did in 2016. The point here is, we know the share of the vote that Donald Trump is going to get. We know what he's going to get. We don't know what Kamala Harris is going to get. Donald Trump has run thrice for the presidency. This is his third run for the presidency. You know him, you love him, you hate him, but you know him. There's not a bunch of persuadable, like, I need to know more about Donald Trump to make up my mind. This is me telling you. Donald Trump is polling better, yes, but it's because he's polling better.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that voters are more comfortable saying that they want to vote for Trump, or voters have made up their minds sooner. When people complain about the polls, and you're not wrong to complain about the polls, I hear you out there complaining about the polls. I get it. I complain about the polls too, and I'm obsessed with them. But when we talk about what's wrong with the polls, it's not that there are shy Trump voters. It's that there are people who aren't maybe ready to say that they're ready to pull the trigger and do it for Donald Trump. Now, 3 times in, I think that they're there and that we're catching them better in the polls than we were before. And I bet Trump will end up about where he was before. And that might be enough for him to win.
So I'm looking at 47.8, 48.8, 48.9, right? So that's, let's just call it a 1 point margin there for Trump in those 3 states last go around.
Yep.
So if we know that he's there, but to your point, we don't know with Kamala Harris, right? Is it reasonable to then say, okay, if she can just get to 49, she wins in those 3 states?
What the Trump campaign has to be worried about is when they start to see the magic 5, when they see that first integer, when they see that first digit, 5 anything, for Kamala Harris, that's the problem. Because once she's hitting 50 and above, and that's what Hillary Clinton's problem was. Hillary Clinton, well, she got a lot of problems, but one of Hillary Clinton's problems was in 2016. Donald Trump would set his campaign on fire and drive it off a cliff on about a 3-day basis, and she could never crack 50. If Kamala Harris starts cracking 50 on the regular in these polls and in national polls, that's what the Trump campaign has to look out for.
They're wrapping me, but I want to know, so then on the flip, what should worry Harris's team?
Well, that there's more volatility in her numbers, period.
Okay.
It's good for her that there might be upward volatility, but it's also possible that her floor is lower.
On the other side.
Yep.
Stirewalt breaks it down. Thank you,
We did
sir.
it.
Very fascinating. All right, still to come here on The Hill. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.